variety of senior police officers here present, and they are here to give update on the activities and operations of the Salon Police. On the far right there is Lieutenant Tedifo de Kabu. He's representing the Regional Commander Freetown West. And of course, we have Commissioner High, in charge of scientific support. CID. So when we talk about cyber, we're talking about cyber being part of scientific support. We also have Superintendent Fully Usman, who is head of operations planning. We call it the operations policy planning and department. If you go to the town, they are based there. And of course, we have the commissioner in charge of Freetown East, Commissioner Francis Hasty. We have the deputy of media and public relations, the SP Sacrifice Contel. We also have the principal staff officer, in the person of ACP Ishmael Peter. So we have it also. And of course, we have a very familiar face. Yes, the DASP, the D is Detective Assistant Superintendent of Police Levy, as the manager of operations at CID. And of course, we have another familiar face. He used to be here. Normally call him Delta 3, but he's in charge of operations at the operations support department, West, Mr. Senesi, ACP Senesi. We have some other officers at the back there, all from the media department, my very self, ACP Ghana Kamara, and of course the chairperson for today. And the chairperson we've been seeing for the past month is still the chairperson. And it's not less a person, the director of operations, and the person of AIG, and we are all welcome, sir. Mr. Chairman, we can take over, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Kamara. Welcome to members of the First State. The meeting is called to order, the press conference is called to order, and I will ask that we listen carefully as people will give updates for the past 1 week. I will just go through the program for today. We have the opening courtesies for Muslims, introduction of chairman. We're past that. The updates now include remarks by the chairman, Mr. Ahmad Umana, director of operations, updates from Freetown East, updates from Freetown West, update from Delta 3, update from CID operations, Mr. Francis Levy. I think we have to amend a bit, so we want to listen to Dr. Senesi. I think Dr. Senesi is here in respect of a special arrest that was made a few days ago, I think 1 or 2 days ago, and we will give him a chance to also say something, and then we'll go to questions and answers. Media One colleagues on the part of the police, the members of the Fourth Estate, we had a very exciting week, a very difficult week, and very engaged. We are highly engaged during this week, during the past few days. And it will interest you to know that we had a very serious incident at Waterloo. That one will be discussed into detail by the Commissioner of Freetown East, the Rick Paul, wherein a school-going pupil was knocked down by a vehicle that resulted into very serious riots. And for the first time I see policemen being butchered, pelted with stones that led. Just imagine a stone person in Titkomot. How would you view such a thing? It was very, very serious. a lot of police officers actually sustained very serious wounds, and a few others had some minor wounds and have been brought to hospital. However, the details will be given by Mr. Hisley. I will support in that vein. You will also discuss slightly about the midterm census. It is not ours. We are talking about provision of security for the people that will be conducting the census. It is not a police event. It is statistics Sierra Leone event. But we will be providing securities based on threats that have been issued already on radio, on television, by various people. We are also aware of some arrest of some kidnappers at yes, thank you. On the census issue, Madam Joan Bull, our legal one, I think is here. Where is she? Can you come and sit by me? Oh, okay. Good. Joan Bull is here and will throw some light on the Census Act of 2002. I saw it yesterday for the first time, and I was able to go through it quickly. So it is good for us all to learn, some of you that have never even set eyes on it or even heard about it, because people in the full orders, but that is not for us. Madam Joan Bull will say some things about that. The third one is, of course, arrest of pepper sprays. I think we reported, my legal one went into radio. I heard him clearly telling the people that pepper spray not for policeman for now. In fact, it was interesting. I had somebody asking, if myself get and for protect myself, say it depends on what purpose people. I like that answer. The use of it determines how useful it is. For us, it is very useful to disperse people. So it becomes a police equipment. Arrest of pepper spray. You will see the people live that were arrested with pepper spray. We have spoken about it. We have informed the public about pepper sprays, and indeed, we have been able to arrest people live with it. And that Mr. Senesi will be able to give some updates on that. And yes, I like the pepper spray. I like kidnapping, midterm census, the Waterloo Riot. Arrest of 52 suspects in the Yabeku. Yes, the gang rape incident. I think this one is now a common palace here. We have discussed it several times, wherein the female was gang raped and an iron put into her vagina. Suspects have been arrested. We've been able to get 52 people. I think Mr. Levy is here. He will be able to tell you about that. The case file had been transferred from Bull to CID Freetown, and it will surprise everybody that the victim is recovering at a very fast rate. So these and more you will find in our press briefing today, and I want to thank each and every one of you for coming. We need to tell you what is going on, and our operation, smooth running, preventing the motorcycles from coming into the CBD, I think is yielding some dividends. And we have all seen it, and it is very good. I walked around today for some time, and I saw that some few brave it to come around, but they are always in hot waters. So those of you that have motorcycles, please, if they are private, within the CBD, it should be one person. If they are commercial, It's a no-go area. Because otherwise they will change to commercial and will take two people, they will change to private, and then in the runner, so that be private use. So if it is your private, use it for one person. We agree, that concession is there. But the sooner we catch you two, no, the whole land. Because this is a regulation. It's part of our regulations now, and we'll stand by them. So we will not want anybody who can be a big, like we left farm. Just us all do the right thing. You know, if we decide to maintain some law, we decide to maintain some order in this country I will find for we. But we're very disorderly. The new one, let me tell you again, we have just informed all our police officers across the country. Any motorcar will not get number plate. Any motorcar we cover with number plate. We cover the number plate, take close, you cover. Any motorcar we on license. And Honda, not to motorcar no more. When we catch them, we'll impound it. We'll keep it, irrespective of whoever is using that vehicle. That is a directive from the presidency. It is a letter from the secretary to the president. Any letter from the secretary to the president is law unto itself. And this is a law of this country. No unlicensed vehicle is authorized to ply the streets of this country. People don't go and say, I mean, JC, they bring new motorcar. No. This time you do it, we park a police station for you. I could remember a brother of mine is now dead. Commander Norway. I was in Bo, he went to visit me with a vehicle without number plate. I said, this motorcar, you know the pull again. He thought I was joking. He moved from Kenema and came to me. I said, you know the car, I go. He said, I will license it for you tomorrow. You know? So I decided to license it. I gave him everything. Go fix her. No fix her. When he was going on the way, he was arrested by somebody who tried his person. He was placed in cell. He called me. I said, they put smart today. You know? And then we were able to fix it. He said, not be no so that's the thing serious. When I was telling him, until somebody that was more difficult, I gave it to him. I said, go down to the garage, then go fix her. He did not until he was arrested. So please don't try it. If you try it, and call me, I know the answer. I know the answer. Please, I will not answer. So I will stop so far, and then I will go. We'll start immediately without much ado. I will call on, representative of Freetown East to give the update. Teddy. No, Freetown West. Freetown. This is Freetown East. You see, it's you, Mr. Hazley. I beg where they watch me now. I catch me. Sorry. Mama, give me your dad not the work.
Good afternoon, all. I am Commissioner Francis Hazley, Commander Freetown East. Well, just few issues to be narrated here. We start with the fatal road accident that my Director of Operation was talking about. It occurred on the 30th, 11/2021, at about 08:15 hours at Waterloo, 55 to be specific. Wherein a Serena vehicle driver, Sinekago, was coming from the Mashaka direction heading for Freetown here, and at reaching that 55 spot, a traffic police officer was on duty, gave him a full police stop signal. Although he was behind, but the signal was for all of them, and they beckoned to the people to cross as they were in their numbers and they were rushing to go to school. Well, we all know these drivers. He was impatient. He just drove from the back of the queue and ran into the people who were on their way crossing. Unfortunately, he knocked down 3 of them. One was fatally injured, Khadija, a class 2 pupil, and the other 2 were slightly injured. One was with a broken leg, and the other sustained minor injuries. They were all rushed to the Connaught Hospital here. And upon seeing that incident, the others went there to their campus and regrouped and said the police caused the accident. Well, it was unfortunate because seeing them, they are aged, so they started pelting stones on the police. 4 of them were on duty at that scene. Well, with all the stones that were being pelted on the police officers, they managed to quell down the situation because they are just underage kids. They were repelled and returned to their school premises. Well, our brothers, they go and get and join up in the demonstration, assisted by our Okada riders. Well, upon their intervention, because serious injuries on our police officers who were on duty, a reinforcement team was called upon from the station and from my regional headquarters and Waterloo. Joy Stronghold, who responded and restored sanity within the area. But before our arrival, most of our police officers who were there were seriously injured. And like my commander, my boss was saying, one of our OSD officers was pelted with a heavy granite stone that caused him injury on his lips and forced one of his front teeth to get broken. He is presently admitted and undergoing treatment. Another case we are having, which is pending and under active investigation, is on yesterday's date, almost this morning, that at Timney Town and Quia, the remains of one Abbas Kabo, formerly of Big Yard Lokotam, was a caretaker of a community water well. Well, what happened, nobody can tell because the case is still under investigation. This morning, in the hours of 5:30 to 6, his remains was discovered behind his house with a split stomach, and we are displayed out. The case is under investigation at the Kisi Police Division headquarters. I have instructed the commissioner there, the local unit commander, to transfer the matter to my regional headquarters, and same will be forwarded to CID headquarters. Another case is also a fatal road accident involving a tipper lorry, which caused the Okada riders yesterday again to go on the rampage. Well, we are all going towards the same direction. The Okada rider, sensing he was too smart or too clever or knows how to ride properly, just made a quick U-turn in front of the tipper. The tire skidded and he fell just in front of the tipper lorry. Whether the driver was concentrating or not, he just drove and the back tire killed him on the spot. His colleague onlooker said their colleague has been killed, went on a rampage. Well, the Kisi division managed the situation, but they could not, so they called for reinforcement from my regional headquarters, and without wasting time, we went to the scene. We pacified the situation, spoke to them. They saw reasons. Some of them who were at the scene said no, their colleague is at fault because of that U-turn he made in front of the driver. So the situation was returned to normalcy, and they all team up with us. The corpse is presently at the Connaught mortuary. So far from the Freetown East, these are the 3 pressing issues or urgent cases we are having under our investigation. That is all. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Hazley. And for those updates, when you said Timni Town, Koya, is it in Freetown or
Yes, sir.
Which part of Freetown?
Up the hills.
Is it in Wellington?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right up the hills.
Yes, so
There's a water dam there that used to be the caretaker community water dam.
okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I also called upon Mr. Teddy Kagwo to give an update from the Freetown West region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Press. Nothing.
Thank you.
Yes, you know.
Thank you, sir. My name is Teddy Kabu, and I'm representing the Freetown West, Mr. Manfred Williams, who is unavoidably absent. I have one report for updates, which is on Tuesday, 7th December 2021. The Central Operations Team arrested one Mohammed Kanu of number 7 Norman Street, Regent, for allegedly setting fire on the Freetown Cotton Tree. Presently, the said Norman is at Central Police Station helping the police in investigations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Teddy. I think you had a lot more to offer us. I want to know about the update on the case of the so-called kidnappers who held the boy that was selling kush for them. Are you aware of that case?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh, thank you.
I
Okay.
was just
Okay. Don't worry. Yes. And I also call on Delta 3, Dr. Senesi, to give updates on arrest made 2 nights ago. Thank you.
Director of Operations, colleagues, senior officers, members of the Fourth Estate, good afternoon. I am Dr. John Martin Senesi, Deputy Director of Operations Support Division. On Tuesday, the 7th of December 2021, at 19:15 hours, white on patrol with a section of crack squad on board the SLP 076 along Jui Allentown Highway. I received a cell phone call from Assistant Superintendent of Police Augustine Kavia that around 1900 hours we received a cell phone call from a concerned citizen at Tesco fuel station that some youths on board a motorbike are at the said fuel station and they are not satisfied with them. So they need police intervention. Based on that, Police Constable Julius Conte, Police Constable Lois Kobia, together with Conte they left the station for Tesco fuel station. With their timely intervention, they were able to apprehend 3 youths with a motorbike. When searched, a pepper spray was discovered from one of them. And interestingly, if you look at the pepper spray that they were using, it is different from the one the Sierra Leone police is using. This is what we are using, the Sierra Leone police force. This is the pepper spray that they were caught with. So they were all taken to the Allentown police station for further investigation. So I gave instruction to the driver to proceed at Allentown police station. We went there. Suspects were there together with the pepper spray and the motorbike. I then informed the director of operations
about what have occurred, and he instructed me to take them to West headquarters so that today we'll present them at this Nobel press conference. And it was based on intelligence gathered around our nation that people are using pepper spray, and there is a lot of intelligence going around that youth have planned to attack some fuel stations to set on fire. So that was disclosed to us, and straight away the matter was handed over to WPC, to PC Conte I. This is the investigative officer. She is now responsible to investigate the said matter. Yesterday she obtained statement from all of them, and she's still going ahead with her investigation. Thank you very much. However, the suspects are outside. If for more facts, with your permission, we can even come with them so that they
look at them.
Okay, they are already there. If you look at the three guys. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Senesi, these are the guys, small boys. Yes, can you take them outside? I think we have seen them. If you want to take photographs of them, you can quickly, so they will be now taken outside. When I can then go back, yeah? Can we respectfully ask Mr. Francis Levy to give his update?
Good afternoon again to our new press conference. Director of Operation and Chairman of the press conference, senior police officers from various commissions and operations, my colleagues, senior police officers also at the first state, first state. Over the weekend, I only have to present two matters of importance at CID headquarters now under investigation. The first one is from Friday, the 3rd December 2021 at about 1800 hours. The breaking and larceny unit of the Criminal Investigation Department, CID headquarters, received a transfer case and inquiry file from regional headquarters, Freetown West, with 4 suspects for an alleged case of conspiracy to commit a felony. The report says that on Monday, the 29th November 2021, at about 1900 hours, at Crisel Communication Site, Decker Drive, Lumley, Freetown, thief or thieves stole 12 80 AMP ZTE batteries, valued at 82,800,000, property of Crisel Limited, and thereby suspected the injured group security guards who are on duty. They are with us for further investigation. The other important case, among the others, is an alleged case of conspiracy to commit a crime, to wit, unlawful assembly, disorderly behavior, riotous conduct, arson, and other related offences. This was also a transfer case from Bond Division, the southern province of Sierra Leone. It was alleged that a group of an agri youth drawn from various towns and villages in the Yabeko Chiefdom, Bond districts in the southern province of Sierra Leone, armed with shotguns, cutlasses, and sticks, gathered in Talia town with intent to commit a crime in a revenge for a rape victim, Jebe Bangali, aged 16 years, and later moved towards Blama village, the hometown of suspected perpetrators, and burned down the entire village. So 54 suspects were brought along with a case and inquiry file for these related offenses. They are with us at the CID headquarters. Of course, statement has been obtained from them, and then we are intent to reconstruct the scene very soon for further investigation. These are the tropical cases among the others for now at CID headquarters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Levy. This brings us to our briefs, and I will now call upon. Oh, sorry, Doctor. Oh, Doctor, sorry for leaving you out. In fact, this was why the mic was not on. Yes, I will respectfully ask the Director of Scientific Support Unit, Dr. Lahai, to give updates on the upcoming matters that are within his department. Thank you very much. Yes, you are at liberty to go ahead, my brother. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senior colleagues present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the Fourth Estate, good afternoon to you all. For those of you that do not know me, I'm Ibrahim Joseph Lahai, Commissioner of Police, and I'm the head of the Scientific Support Department, with one key unit under the Scientific Support being cyber crimes. At the moment, there is an interesting and overwhelming matter of interest currently being handled by my department, and I'm supervising the investigation directly. And on the 24th of November 2021, the institution, that is the policing institution as a whole, received a complaint of kidnapping involving one Fatima Tabin Taba, a resident of Tembe Town. But this complaint was filed in by a relation of hers, a person of one Saliuba, who is a resident of Adonkia, the western part of the city. According to the report, Fatima Tabin Taba was on her way to the market between 7 p.m. to 8 along Sakila Road. The Poda she was boarding had a problem, and she therefore boarded a taxi heading along Sakila Road. But the report further states that she was given a mark by the driver to put on, claiming that there was a checkpoint along Sakila Road where anyone without a mark can easily embarrass. He gave her the marks, and she felt unconscious and could not realize herself until when they arrived at a destination she could not identify by herself, claiming the whole show to be kidnapping. So it's all on social media, the print and electronic media, etc. Well, this matter was brought to the Scientific Support Department. But we as forensic investigators, that is the use of science and technology in aiding crime investigation. We don't rely on what Sori comes and says, Alpha says this, Sori says it. No. We operate on three principles. The ABCs of scientific support, forensic investigation. We assume nothing. We believe nothing. And we challenge everything that you tell us. When this report was received, I had a case conference with my team, because we work in partnership with other colleagues in the digital world. NATCOM being our regulator. Of course, we have the Orange Mobile Company, Sharatel, we also have AfriCell and QCell. So a case conferencing was set up, conducted briefly as to how we can crack down this report. Alongside the investigation, the complainant came back and said the kidnappers, the alleged kidnappers, has requested a ransom of 30 million euros, which must be paid before the lady can be released, or she will be killed within the next 72 hours if the 30 million euros is not paid. We grew very worried, contacted our media house and police headquarters to see how we can promulgate the issue. to members of the public for their timely intervention. But notwithstanding that, we kept working day and night. And the first thing we did was we tried to get the cell phone number of this alleged victim. We were able to get the number. And knowing the number with our available facilities at our forensic lab, we were able to identify the current location of the individual. Because if I have your number and your phone is on, I have a system that I can go through and identify your exact location. Here talking about the longitude and latitude, the site location, your exact point in the country, or wherever you may be around the city. We were able to talk with the complainant who claimed the cell phone of the perpetrator to have been used to contact her relations about her kidnapping and the request for the ransom. We did a foot trace, contact tracing of the cell phone of the lady. And alongside, we realized that the SIM was a registered one in the name of the alleged victim, Fatmata bint Abba, a resident of Tengbeta. That one was confirmed. We also identified whom the perpetrators called directly upon the arrest of the alleged victim. And we summoned both of them to the CID headquarters in our conference hall. Thorough discussions were conducted, and we decided to go further beyond the information that we have so far received vis-a-vis the ownership of the SIM card and the perpetrators as well. We were able to identify them as male, and they were co-located with some other numbers, because if I'm here, my phone is on, we have a system that we can know all available phones in this building as I'm talking to you. Your co-locators can be identified, provided if the SIMs are all registered. That is the big challenge in fact we are getting. If your SIM is not registered, it means if even we slot into our system, we cannot tell exactly who is the owner of that phone. We can't tell. But if your phone is registered, if your SIM is registered, the moment we slot your number in the system, your name and address comes up. So we are able to identify certain users of cell phones and the location where the alleged victim was based. And on the next day, we summoned the complainant back to our central office at CID headquarters for us to map a way forward with his aid. Fortunately for the police, he told us that the victim, the family had been able to raise the sum of 13 million euros, the ransom to be paid. And without getting back to us, that they have paid the ransom. Through who was this ransom paid? They named a particular individual who is currently helping with the investigation, one Adama Mansari, that he paid the money to Adama Mansari. We summoned Adama Mansari. Adama Mansari came and made a comprehensive statement with under caution and questions. And she was able to tell us that she received the ransom of 30 million euros from members of the family who they hastily raised, and then she had paid the money through the SIM number, through the cell phone of the victim that was in the hands of the alleged kidnappers. Then we started tracing this payment, how the payment was made. During the course of our investigations, our contact tracing, our footings, we were able to know one, that Adama Mansari confirmedly received the sum of 30 million euros from members, relations to the alleged victim. But of these 30 million euros, she sent 10 million euros and held on to the other 3 million euros. Suspicions started coming up very strongly. Yes. Still held on to the 3 million and sent 30 million euros.
10 million.
And sent 10 million euros. Sorry. Doubt started coming up about Adama Mansari.
Now listen, please.
Please listen carefully. Then we went further to know how these monies were sent. According to Adama Mansari, the 10 million euros was sent in bulk to the victim's cell phone number, Orange Money. But then, when we went into details, we observed that she sent the 10 million euros in bits. 7 million, 2 million, and 1 million. But that's not too important because the 10 million euros were all sent out. Our next target then was to know how these monies were cashed out of that fund. Then we started to trace the numbers that actually did the cash out. Along the line of our investigations, we observed that there was a particular number. Before this victim was allegedly kidnapped, she used to cash out money to this particular
Same man.
orange money agent. Listen carefully. Before she was kidnapped, she used to cash all his financial transactions through this particular agent. The agent is at Wilberforce. And when she was kidnapped, she was taken to Waterloo. Waterloo of the province. She was taken to Waterloo. Then we decided to follow how the 10 million euros that we have confirmed to be in her cell phone were dished out. When we did the tracing, we observed that all the 10 million euros were dished out to this same agent that she used to cash out her financial connections with.
And she was at Waterloo.
And she was at Waterloo under as a kidnapped victim. So concern started to develop more stronger about the authenticity of this kidnapping. Then we also observe one thing which is key, that because like I said, we have been dealing with fraudsters at CID. If someone says, I'm chief minister, please send 5 million to through this line, orange money. When you send the 3 million, the 5 million news, when they go to cash it out, they collect everything. But in this case, this 10 million euros never cast out in totality. First withdrawal, 500,000. After a day, they went back and withdraw 1,500,000 from to the same agent. To the same agent. Then after another day, they went back and collected 300,000 euros to the same agent. Then I grew more suspicious. If these people are kidnappers and they've taken this lady to Waterloo, why should they leave Waterloo to cash out this money to come back to Wilberforce to cash out to the agent, the previous agent of this lady? Then I said, no, this cannot be a kidnapping. Then I went further to check. The agent that was doing this cash out is resident at Wilberforce, and all the cash outs were done to that particular agent. And when we went further, this lady was released on the 26th. And on the 27th, cash out was also done from that same amount that was sent to the same agent. Digital evidence, as I'm talking to you, this is authentic, it is unchangeable, nothing can interfere with it. And even after she was released, 2 cash outs were made to the same agent. I said, no, this cannot be kidnapping. Something hidden is going on. So for this reason, the coordinator between members of the alleged victim and the kidnappers is in my custody, still helping with the investigation. The victim herself is now being investigated for us to know the truth behind it. But in conclusion, I must state here that that incident did not occur. There was no kidnapping of Fatmata bin Tabar. It was a calculated drive to extort monies from members of her own family and to create panic in the country. I say this with authority, with all evidence, 100% evidence. Kidnapping did not occur. Quote me anywhere, and I have my evidences to produce anywhere. She was not kidnapped, kidnapping did not occur, and it was only a calculated drive to bring panic into this country. Thank you for listening, Mr. Chairman. I saw so far the investigations are still ongoing. God bless us.
Thank you very, very much. This is science. This is science, and these are facts. Thank you for educating us. And I believe this Alekna Chrisman, it is clear, crystal clear, that it is not kidnapping. I hope, have you gotten the victim? Is the victim with us now?
Yes, helping with the investigation.
Very good. So I think we are almost there. Further investigations will indicate that, well, now life will be life. You will get it shortly.
He was on money.
Yes. Can I call on Madam Joan Bull, the legal one of the SLP, to come and give us some updates, education on the on the Statistics Act of 2002. Madam John, can you come and sit where Mr. Isley is so that you will be able to talk very well? Yeah, thank you. Let me push it closer. Yes.
The war is on.
You can go ahead.
A child that says the mother should not sleep, that child must also not sleep.
Hello, good afternoon again. It's a pleasure to be in your midst. Thank you very much for the invite. My duty here is to basically explain to us about what we have in the Statistics Act and the Census Act. For the past few days, we've been having deliberations on the Statistics Act and the Census Act, or on the issue of the conduct of census in our country. Whatever we do in this country, we are bound by the law, and we are expected to act according to the provisions of a stipulated enactment. All legal provisions for enactment go through Parliament for it to be binding in this country. And so whatever we do, as I stated earlier on, we have to work within the precinct of an enactment. And every act or actions tailored towards stating what we do not have within the act, it is incumbent on us as legal enforcement body to be able to educate the public, especially on what we have in the act. So for the conduct of census in this country, we have two acts. For the conduct of census, the conduct of statistics, we have two acts that we're dealing with. We have the Statistics Act of 2002, and we also have the Census Act of 2002. Both of these acts are constitutional instruments passed in Parliament, and it makes it binding on every citizen of this particular country. So we have the Statistics Act, and the Statistics Act of 2002 establishes Statistics Sierra Leone, and it establishes Statistics Sierra Leone as a corporate body to collect, to compile, to analyze and disseminate official and other statistics and other related matters. The Census Act is also an act that was an act of 2002. And the Census Act basically provides for the taking of census from time to time. So I'll quickly go through the act with regards to what I believe will be very, very important for this particular session. So if you look at the Statistics Act, if you go, it's online, you can access it online. If you cannot access it, you can go to the office of the head of the Legal and Justice Support Department of the Sierra Leone Police. You will always have the act. We'll be able to give you the act. The interpretation talks about official statistics, and we have in part 2 the establishment of Statistics Sierra Leone. So it is this act that establishes a body known to be known as Statistics Sierra Leone, and it states in section 2, subsection 2, that Statistics Sierra Leone shall be a body corporate having perpetual succession and capable of acquiring, holding, and disposing of any property or whatever. Section 3 states that the Statistics Sierra Leone shall be a council which shall, subject to this act, have the control and supervision of statistics in Sierra Leone. And then if we move on to the same part 2, as I stated, it tells us that this particular act, statistics, is established by this act. Part 3 of the Statistics Act of 2002 establishes the functions of statistics. And amongst others, it states that the object for which Statistics Sierra Leone is established is to serve as the central authority for the collection, the processing, analysis, dissemination of accurate, clear, relevant, timely, and high-quality statistical information on social, demographic, economic, and financial activities to serve the needs of users, including government and the general public. And it states that without prejudice to what I have read in subsection 1 of section 10, section 10 subsection 2 states that the responsibility of statistics is to supervise and manage a national population census to be conducted every 10 years. And please, I want you to take note of that. To be conducted every 10 years or at shorter interval as may be determined by the president. So whatever we have, whatever information, I believe we should be in the position to inform the public, the population, the people of Sierra Leone, that this act, first of all, establishes that statistics should supervise a national population census. And it says the population census can be conducted every 10 years or at shorter intervals. So it means it can be conducted every 10 years or it can be conducted below 10 years as may be determined by. It is what the law says. This went to Parliament and this law was approved. So if we have any insinuations, any inference, or any clear statement that census should be conducted only after 10 years, that is totally wrong, according to what we have in the act that governs census and statistics. Section 11 states that subject to this act, the performance of the functions under this act by statistics shall not be subject to the control or direction of any person or authority. They are also bound by this act. And section 19 states, 19.1 states that the statistics may, in performing its functions, I've just highlighted provisions that I think might be very, very important. All of the provisions are important to us, but for want of time, I think I need to just get some specific provisions that I have to discuss and explain to you. So may perform its functions under this act, and may interview be any person or organization and require that person or organization to furnish such particulars as Statistics Sierra Leone may require. So they have the duty they have the responsibility to ask for any information that they may need. And section 3 talks about power to obtain information. There are other provisions that talk about the designated staff or personnel that can ask questions. But the power is subject to this person. Every person shall, to the best of his knowledge and belief, answer, when so required, all questions put to him orally or in writing by the statistician general or an officer of statistics Sierra Leone authorized in that behalf. It also gives, there is a confidentiality and disclosure provisions that tells even the statistician or personnel designated what they should do after they have collected our statistics. They too have their responsibility not to disclose our information. So that one is also clear in the Act, except otherwise as also stated in the Act. And 21 states that any officer of statistics who may, in the course of his employment under this Act, willfully makes any declaration, statement, or return, obtains or seeks to obtain information that he is not duly authorized to obtain, puts any person a question which is not duly authorized to ask, asks or receives or takes from any person, business, or organization any payment or reward in connection with such employment, or willfully discloses any data or information obtained in the course of such employment to a person not authorized to receive that information, or uses information obtained in the course of such employment contravenes provisions of this Act. So there too, statistics, the personnel, even those assigned, they too have their own responsibility. And the Act has an offense and penalty section, and that one is in section 3, in subsection 3 of section 21. Any individual other than an employee of any business or other organization who fails to answer or incites another person not to answer a question put to him as required under this Act, or furnishes or incites another person to furnish an answer to such a question which is false or misleading in any material respect, knowing the same to be false or misleading, or a person who willfully obstructs the statistician general or any officer of statistics in the performance of his function under this Act commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction. So, incitement, to incite the public that you should not participate in the census, which is a national obligation established by an enactment that has been enacted by an act of parliament. You incite, you have committed an offense, be you who you may be. So it's clear, it is the law that I am reading. That is why I have the legal provision before me and I'm reading directly from it. I am trying as much as possible not to even rephrase, so that I will not do injustice to what I have before me. Even section 4 states that any individual, business, or organization convicted of an offense, okay, it tells you what will happen so the individual or an organization convicted. This one is the Statistics Act. We have the Census Act. The Census Act, as I stated earlier on, makes specific provisions for the taking of census from time to time. But even in the Census Act, it also states the obligations to hold census, and that one is established in Section 2. It said that the President may from time to time, on the advice of the Minister, by order made by statutory instruments, direct a census to be taken of the population of. In fact, this one does not even give any specified time, like the alternative that was given in the Statistics Act. So, to say that statistics is normally conducted after every 10 years, or census is normally conducted after every 10 years, and should be conducted after 10 is misleading. It's a misleading statement. It is not what is provided by the law. And Section 3 states that subject to this act, statistics shall have a general supervision and management in the taking of any census in Sierra Leone. So the body established to handle census is Statistics Sierra Leone. As I said, I don't want to rephrase, I want to read exactly what we have, even though I might be trying to summarize. Part 3, and specifically Section 8, states for statistics to obtain information. Any person holding a post of an enumerator or above who produces an identification, I think this is what we need to be telling the public. You can't just give your information to anybody. Somebody should provide an ID card which you can look at and see. Or above, who produces an identification card duly signed by the Chief Census Officer and who is employed in the execution of this act, shall have authority to ask of any person whom they have reasonable cause to believe to be able to afford the information desired, or such questions as may be necessary for obtaining any particulars required for the purpose of this act, which is the conduct of a census. And every person refusing to answer, or who knowingly gives a false answer to any such questions, shall for every such refusal or false answer be liable on a summary conviction to a fine. And then 11 states that the powers of entry is clear. Any person holding the post of an enumerator above and who produces an identification card duly signed by the census and who is employed in the execution of this act may enter upon any premises at any reasonable hour for the purpose of performing any duties or exercising any powers imposed or conferred upon him by or under this act. So they have powers of entry, statistics personnel or personnel designated by statistics have powers of entry to enter into a house and ask us of information that they think might be necessary according to this particular act. And Section 14 gives us the penalty. If any person employed in the execution of this act makes willful default in the performance of any of his duties under this act, or willfully makes any false declaration or return, shall be guilty of an offense. 14.2 states clearly, if the head of a household or person deputed by him or senior occupier of the household willfully refuses or without willful excuse neglect to answer questions put to him by any person employed in the execution of this act to the best of his knowledge, information, or belief, or willfully causes to be made, signed, or delivered any false return on any matter of which particulars are required by the questionnaire, shall be guilty of an offense. If any person being employed or so, all of that, these are the provisions. Penalty for obstruction. Any person who hinders or obstructs the chief census officer or any of the persons employed in the execution of this act in the lawful performance of any duties or in the lawful exercise of any powers imposed or conferred upon him by or under this act shall be guilty of an offense and shall be liable on summary conviction. So, sir, I think I've done justice to the act. This is what the act says. Sometimes we have several acts that it's difficult for us to go through. So it is incumbent on us as law enforcement body to be able to use the social media, to be able to use the journalists to help the people understand that we have legal provisions. And it is incumbent on the people of Sierra Leone to abide by the legal provisions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.